This is a machine. It's a different. This is a different. She's a different species. I mean, she doesn't miss a beat, so she's unbelievable.
Welcome to Red Stars Report, a podcast dedicated to bringing you the latest news and commentary on all things Chicago Red Stars. I'm your host, LT.
And I'm your co-host, Grant.
And Grant, we won. That's what we did. We won.
I won too.
You won?
Well, I would just like to say welcome back to myself.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Welcome back.
Thank you,
Grant.
Liz, for filling in for me. I greatly appreciate it. You did really well. Thank you. Shout out to Liz.
Yeah, shout out to Liz. She was great. I hope we can have her back on at some point. She was so knowledgeable, so insightful of the game of soccer. So she's a good person to know. But yeah, Chicago won, which was at 2-0, which was my prediction. I nailed it. I got something right in my soccer life for once. My starting 11 was not correct.
Nobody could have predicted what Lauren was going to come up with.
No. Yeah, we talked about that before. The sort of lack of knowledge that we had in preseason. Like, we don't know what the coaches were thinking. We don't know what the like who's kind of outperforming who in training camp. And so I was not surprised to see a starting 11 with surprise names on it. There was just one name that I was just like really surprised to not see in the starting 11.
Who is it?
And that was Tatum. I don't know. I don't even know what to say.
Need a missing poster ASAP, although we're not trying to be the Utah Royals.
Oh, geez, right. Yeah, I expected to see her name. I thought this would have been a nice reset moment in her career. 2022, she played really, really well. Best 11 second team in the NWSL. I would not say that 2023 was awful for her in any way. She just moved to a different side of the field and didn't play as well as people expected. But the player who replaced her on this roster or on the starting 11 was Taylor Malum, who didn't get a whole lot of playing time last season. And I didn't think impressed me that much. She certainly had her moments last season, but I think Tatum was the better player, and that's why she was the starter. And so to see those two kind of swap for this starting 11, it really seemed like either the style of player that Taylor is fits the tactic that Lauren wanted to go with against Utah, or she just played better than Tatum in camp. We'll never know unless it's someone asks. But yeah, that was the surprise of the starting 11 for me. I'm certain that it was for you as well.
I was so shocked as I was telling you before we started recording. I would just have to assume that she's a lock every single game. Like, especially, I mean, last year was not great for everybody, but Tatum is still Tatum, and she is a good defender. She should be starting, like, period. again, I'm not there. I'm not a part of the coaching staff. I'm just a random 21-year-old yelling into a microphone right now. However, from what we've all seen for the past, I don't even know how many seasons, it's just been like, it feels like she's been here forever. And it feels like that she's a lock into our defense, should be starting every game. I know that he's going to be a big rotational guy and have all these different names in the starting 11. I guess to see how everything works and if certain players fit his system. But I'm just like, what?
Yeah, it's just a bummer that we didn't get to see Tatum either in the starting 11 or even subbing in. I think the issue that people kind of would point at in her play was her passing. Like, she's not the greatest passer, but I don't think Malum did any better at passing than Tatum does. Like, it's not like it improved. Malum definitely had some moments that I thought she played really well, especially um, in the corner. Like, when she would get a defender into the corner, she played them really well. And outside of that, I didn't think there was much else. Our defense, I thought, was good. I don't think they were amazing. They obviously didn't let up a goal, but I think majority of that had to do with Alyssa Naeher.
Everyone's hero, Alyssa Naeher, saving the day, save the week already.
Alyssa fucking Naeher, as Ali Schlegel puts it. I'll bleep
Yeah.
that, just like they did in the video that they posted afterwards. But yeah, Alyssa was amazing, saving our lives 5 times, 4 times
Time and time again.
with
Doesn't matter how many times, felt like all the time.
absolutely stellar saves. She has to be the most in form keeper in the world right now.
Yeah. I have to agree with that, especially coming off the W Cold Cup.
Yeah, Lauren in the post match called her a machine and a different species. Like, she's not from this planet.
Alyssa is a machine. Alyssa is a different. She's a different species. I mean, she was here working before everybody else was here. She was working while we were here, and she left, and she came back from the Gold Cup, and she showed up, and I'm like, why are you here? I mean, she's ready to go. So I mean, that's Alyssa. She doesn't miss a beat. So she's unbelievable.
She, like, who is she? Where did she come from? Uh and Ali Schlegel in the post match as well had nothing but praise for her.
We cannot leave this press conference without talking about Alyssa Naeher's performance today. I mean, it's just electric and lights out.
This is Alyssa's team, and I think everyone's behind her.
Yeah, after she conceded those goals against Mexico, it was kind of been like, I am Alyssa Naeher and I'm here to prove you wrong. And I love that.
Yeah, I'm just incredibly impressed by her, the form she's in, and I can't stop watching those saves. They're just so good.
Especially the last one that she made.
The one, like, going backwards and tipping it over the bar. Yeah.
That was cool.
That was awesome. But it's like I said, like, the defense looked good in certain areas. But where they found where they had certain missteps, certain uh issues, Alyssa was there to save them. And I think the team overall really struggled to possess the ball throughout the entire match. A lot of bad passes, no one really holding up play well throughout the entire match. it like the second half looked better, but if you go back and look at the statistics, their possession was still terrible. In the second half, like I said, looked a lot better, but it really was the Alyssa Naeher show. And as the central defenders like Kuika and Sam Staub, they really kind of like grew into the game as it kind of went on and started to sort of look like the top tier defenders that everyone kind of knows them as.
I don't think we should like expect, and I'm not saying that you think this, but I'm saying just in general, I don't think we should expect everyone to be like working cohesively together already with the first game of this season. It's a good start, you know. Like you said, it was okay. As the games progress, we will get better. That is for all the fans out there that are worried. They are top tier defenders. Just give them a bit, please.
I mean, I think a lot of people see a 2-0 victory and just and and be like, this team's incredible. Let's move on to the next one. But you kind of have to like look deeper than that. On the like offensive side, they had 11 shots, which doesn't sound like much, but there were matches last season where they had like what, 2 shots, 3 shots. Nothing super impressive. 2 of those went in. So that's the plus that kind of, you know, comes from that. But yeah, the passing wasn't great. I wasn't impressed at all with that. But it's something they'll build on. A lot of new players. I know the players are good passers. Like the players that were in that starting 11 are not bad passers. They are proven good passers in their careers. So I think they just need that time to learn each other's tendencies, get that chemistry in into their style of play that they want to play and that Lauren wants them to play, and they'll just keep climbing from there. But other than the Tatum not being in the starting 11, but just staying with the defense, what a start that surprised me, but maybe probably shouldn't have surprised me much, was Maxi Rawl. And seeing her play was pretty interesting, considering that she's going from the Bundesliga, which is a completely different style of play from the NWSL. And I actually asked Lauren about that in the post-match presser, and I think she played well on the offensive side of the ball while making some good decisions on the ball defensively and put in a lot of effort and never really like backed down from any of the challenges that she kind of gave herself. She really, like other players, built into the match as it kind of went on. I still think she has some pretty slow feet, but that's kind of like tactically is kind of how you play in Bundesliga. It's not a very incredibly like athletic league, so there's not as much speed as you really need in the NWSL. And she had a great chance to score late in the match on like a little toe poke in the air that hit off the crossbar. But it's surprising that she didn't really pass the ball very well. She had like good passes in the match, but overall, it was a little surprising that she wasn't super fantastic in the passing game, because statistically she's like one of the best passers in Bundesliga. Like she's a really good passer. So having her on that right side of the defense, I think will, if they keep her there and keep her in the starting 11, I think that'll help open up a lot of opportunities on that right side throughout the throughout the rest of the season. She did make a really good run on the right side that began the sequence that led to that Ava Cook goal, which was really cool, that she was kind of involved in that.
I was surprised, I think, as a lot of people were watching Raw during yesterday's game. Um, I'm not like you where I know like all the stats, whatever. I'm just coming in here, I guess, a little blind and did not know like the passing stats that you just brought up. Um, her offensive abilities were great. Um, I feel like I do want to talk about one play in the game that pissed me off was when Allie, what's her last name? Sentinar? I don't know how to pronounce
Sentinel,
it.
something like
Yeah,
that.
completely slid into her. That is a red in my eyes. And the fact that it wasn't a red, it just, I don't know, frustrated me. Welcome to the NWSL, by the way. That's your gift from the Utah Royals, as that kind of tackle. But besides that, I'm really interested to see if she's a lock for that position and is the main starter going forward. Um, Based off what we all saw yesterday, I'm gonna say that I think she should be given that spot. Um, I was impressed. I was shocked, surprised, all the emotions. Um, I'm excited to see her grow. Defensively, could be better. I mean, everyone on that line, again, could be better. But the surprise of the night, for sure, for me at least.
Yeah. I think you're right that it will be really interesting to watch to see if she'll kind of be the mainstay in there. Maybe not every match, but if she can improve defensively, I think she could very well become the starting right back for them. But I'm not at one game into the season. We're not gonna we're not gonna be able to judge these things, which is why I like obviously I'll think about other players that could be in the starting 11 next match. But I'm not gonna, essentially demote someone just because they had an okay game in the first match of the season on a new team with a bunch of new players. Like, especially a player like her who's coming from an entirely different league and then coming in to the NWSL, which is just a completely different style of play that she's used to. I think she adapted well in certain areas. I did think it was really funny in the post match presser when I asked Lauren about her like adapting to this style of play.
Trying to overlap like P and Mal P and is very difficult. So we have to pull her back a little bit and say, hey, listen, just play from behind, and we think you can be brilliant. And I think the second half, she did an excellent job.
I thought that was a really funny thing to point out by Lauren, but the other players on the defense, like Sam Staub, her long throw-ins, everything that I was hoping for, everything that I was talking about. She really was like a stalwart at center back. I thought she played really well. She um, kept up with the pace of certain forwards that got past her initially, but she would get back on on defense and at least somewhat deter them from getting a ball to Alyssa. And even if the ball did get to Alyssa, she stopped it, uh, which is completely expected. Um, I I think she'll become one of the most effective distributors for the club this season. Her long ball accuracy, her decision making is just what we needed after Tierna Davidson departed, because she was kind of like that go-to player that could get a ball over the top, that could um, be the player who's furthest back that could be the wall that kind of no one can get by. And I definitely believe that that will be Sam this year. But when she does get forward, it becomes either a ball goes, out to touch and she can throw it in to the box like it's a short corner, or she's there and she places a ball that maybe wasn't like the most perfect ball in the world, but she got it in the box and Ali Schlegel gets her head on it and redirects it straight into the goal. And like, what more could you ask for from your center back than getting an assist on the first match of the season?
Yeah, those long throws are a thing of beauty. She might want to try adding it in a flip throw. Could get the ball even farther.
I think she's athletic enough to get a flip throw in. That would be crazy.
I really want to see more flip throws going on in this league because you see them in college soccer, and I think it just stops there. Let's keep the fun going into the pros.
I wonder if
Like,
it's like an injury risk or something. I'm
then
not
why do they
sure.
let it happen in college soccer?
Oh, I don't know. Because college soccer players are just have like a mind of their own, don't they?
Yeah, that's why 19-year-olds are slide tackling into the maxi roll.
That's a good point. Yeah, I think Sam's getting up there on my contender for my kit this year. Like I know I think that she was already at the top of my list, but I think she's holding her place right there. We obviously don't have those custom kits yet, which we'll see what.
TikTok, Red
Yeah,
Stars.
here comes the home opener, and we still don't have them. We'll see how that plays out. But whenever they do make those available, Sam's currently at the top of my list. She's a very
I'm
fun.
still going with Tatum.
She's a very fun player to watch, Sam. So I'll be happy to represent her name on the back
Queen of the long throws.
Yeah, and her set piece taking isn't awful either. That's it's
So
quite
true.
fantastic. But then the other defender was Natalia Kuika. And outside of kind of an iffy start, which everyone had, we mentioned that. I thought Kuika looked so good at center back when she found her place in the match. She was very strong on the ball, found the right spots to be dangerous in transition play. There was a moment, I think just a few minutes into the match, where Sam was playing kind of more towards the midfield and got beat going for the ball in that area and had to make a massive recovery run to get the tackle in the box before the player could get a shot off to Alyssa. But while that was happening, Kuika was kind of keeping her distance from that player who was making the breakaway, uh, because there was another player like flanking Natalia on the other side of the field. So she just kept moving kind of between the players, preventing the ball handler from getting a clean run into the box, kind of pushing her to the outside, but then she would move back into the passing lane so the player couldn't get the ball across the box to her teammate. And I just thought, like, such a smart decision, than just her bearing down on the player who got past Sam and risking a ball getting played into the box, that and then just a one-on-one with Alyssa right there. She knew that Sam would catch up with her speed, and she did make a hell of a save by the time the player or she caught up to the player. But I think just Kuika's role, like, you should go back and look at it. Like, Kuika's role was just like her decision making was just very smart for a center back, and I think she played it really well.
This is why we sign veterans. This is exactly why we signed veterans.
That's so true. And this isn't like a situation where you're taking a forward and making them an outside back, or taking an outside back and making them a center back. Like, Natalia Kuika plays center back for her national team. Like, she knows how to play this position. She plays it well for Finland. So when I saw the starting lineup and she was at center back, even though I kind of expected her to play at center back if we weren't going to start Anderson, who's like our only other center back on the roster, um, I knew, seeing her at center back right next to Sam, I had the utmost confidence that those two were going to not allow any goals. They obviously, there were some moments where they were definitely the reason that the ball made it to Alyssa, but I think moving forward, the more chemistry they build, especially with Alyssa and the players on the outside and the players in the midfield, I think we'll just have a much better season defensively than we did last year.
I agree. I'm excited, and I think by the time, see, I was gonna say by the Olympics, I'd say things will probably be meshed well, but that's too late. I hope by next month, actually.
I mean, the team really does seem to have a lot of great chemistry off the field. So it wouldn't surprise me if just after getting a couple of starts, or a couple of matches under their belt, that they would find that chemistry, find what works for them. I like, obviously, you hope that teams build chemistry with each other in the preseason, but when they're playing those like scrimmage matches, they're not, you're not playing 100%. You're not going full force, especially at these college players that they're playing against in some of these preseason matches. And obviously, at like one match into the season, you can sit here and we can judge all we want, like from what we saw in this match. But they were going up against a team like Utah, who is brand new to the league, has like every single one of their players is new, a coach that has never coached in the NWSL before. And some of the things you have to look at is, were the Red Stars playing well, or was Utah just playing poorly? And I'm sure it was like a bit of both, because like I would never take anything away from these players. They played a hell of a second half for sure, but there's plenty to improve on. And I just feel like you might look at the defense and think they didn't allow a goal, they played really well, but they were going up against a rookie and Paige Monahan, who isn't, you know, the greatest forward in the league. So until they get tested by top tier forwards, I'll reserve my full thoughts on our defensive structure until then.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned like the whole was Utah worse or whatever, because that was my thoughts watching the Kansas City and Portland game. And then to go from that and then watching all these other games yesterday, it's like,
Yeah.
well,
That was kind of like watching the little that I saw from the
Hurricane.
Seattle Washington
Oh.
game tonight, because we're recording this on Sunday, is like Washington looked bad
And why is that, LT?
because of their jerseys.
Well, besides
No.
their awful jerseys.
They got rid of all of their players. just like Chicago did. And one of those players, two of those players, Sam Staub and Cameron Bogolski, who are Red Stars now. So we took them. We got them.
We got
Ours
'em.
now. They do have Casey though, and they played her at center back, which was weird. We tried that once and it was good. Like it was fine. Like she was good. She's a good center back, but she's a way better fullback. And I think in the second half they moved her to fullback, and she was just a different beast because she's an amazing player. So hopefully they learned from that mistake and they can improve on that. But they didn't. I didn't know if it was like Seattle was playing very well or Washington was playing poorly. That's what the comparison was. Like
I mean, that's like all the games except for Racing and Orlando, because that game. But besides that, like all those other games
yeah,
this weekend
it's true. Yeah, North
are to
Carolina
judge.
and Houston. Although I wasn't expecting Houston to be great either. So North Carolina beating them was not a surprise to me.
Yeah, I do have to laugh because they interviewed Cece Kaiser in the pregame, and she's like, "Yeah, we're gonna work hard. We're gonna be blue collar, all that. You go on to lose 5-1." It's just like, I don't know, man. And then BSG killing it.
Brace. Yeah.
Yeah.
Finally someone plays her as a forward.
hmm
And that's what you get. 2 goals in one game. But back to the Red Stars. We talked about the defense. The midfield was, at least defensively, the same midfield as last season with Carrie Riccaro and Julia Bianchi. They swapped sides of the field this season, which is something that I had mentioned like from the beginning, that Julia is better on the right side than she is on the left. And I thought she played really well there, and that doesn't surprise me at all. I think it's really interesting how those two were like the holdovers as like a partnership from any of the lines last season. Obviously, that's because of player departures, and then forward wise, like Mal coming back and not playing so much last season. But I thought that Julia had a fantastic game, so consistent, so quick, was on the ball as much as she possibly could be, and just looked really comfortable. I think that's like the most like operative word that you could describe her as. She just seemed very comfortable. There were so many times last season where she kind of looked, I wouldn't say like panicked, but just kind of out of position, out of place. And her composure, I thought, was showing a lot in this match. Like just how composed she was when she was on the ball, when she was off the ball. I still hope that she finds more opportunities to get into the attack. This may not have been like the match to do that, but she had um, a very solid game overall, I thought. And then Carrie was also solid, as she always is. Looked like she was putting in a lot of effort. Same old Carrie that we all know, doing whatever she can to help this team win. Nothing flashy, but nothing sticks out other than maybe like a couple of moments where the ball progressed too easily through the midfield that led to some opportunities to Utah. But other than that, I was really quite impressed with our midfield, which isn't a shock or shouldn't be a shock considering those two have now played together for more matches than most of these players that were in the starting 11 have even either played in their careers or played in this group.
Yeah, I think our midfield is kind of going to be like the silent killers this season. Um, Probably not going to get a whole lot of praise. This is the only space you're going to hear it, so
Because I'm a
get
big
used to
Julia
it.
Bianchi fan. Right there. Julia.
I just want to bring up that I think the commentators need to learn how to pronounce her name, or else I'm going to throw a fit.
You'll never get that from JP. He does not.
I just
He has said her name a million times, and it'll never change from Bianchi.
get her a Yankees hat ASAP and then tag him on Twitter.
Bianchi.
But in all seriousness, silent killers this year, I would not be surprised if either one of them ended up on an all NWSL team at the end of the season. So I have high hopes for the both of them and high expectations as well. And so I think they'll be very good for us, holding it down in the midfield.
Yeah, I I don't even know how to like explain the importance of having those two. Like the midfield is such an important part of a team. They are the connectors. They are the ones who are going box to box. And I think those two specifically playing so much together last season and learning each other's tendencies, learning how to play next to one another. Their showing yesterday, maybe obviously not an incredible showing, but a showing that proved how consistent they are as a duo. And I don't think they'll break up that duo. I think there'll be rotation subs wise with that duo, getting other holding midfielders that are on this squad minutes because that's much needed, obviously. But I think those two as a pair are the two that I'm the most confident in outside of Sam and Natalia as like a pair that I don't think will be off the field much this season.
They really shouldn't be off the field. I mean, unless, injury, of course. But when you got something good, keep it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So
Yeah. And
just gonna leave it at that.
I do think that both of them, even just in a short amount of time like this match, showed improvement on certain aspects of their game, especially Julia. You could already see that she was faster than she was last season. She must have really put in a lot of work. And she's obviously in form because she just played with Brazil all the way through the finals of the Gold Cup. So she was probably the most in form person on the team outside of Alyssa. And then Natalia, who also played in a tournament of her own, uh, not too far apart from the Gold Cup as well. So that was just really cool to see. But I think the big storyline outside of the win and the goals that were scored was obviously Mal getting her first start in the NWSL, her first minutes in the NWSL since the second match of the season last year after her injury. She posted on Instagram today and said 343 days since the last time that she was in a match, 3 surgeries, and an infection that she says changed her whole perspective on life. I mean, wow. Like, to play 81 minutes in your first match back, like 81. Are you kidding me? Like you and I were talking before the match, and I think you were like, "Is Mal gonna start?" Or you were surprised that she might have been starting. And I was like,
Yeah.
"I'm not surprised that she was starting." And you said, "Do you think she'll go 90?" And I was like, "She'll absolutely not go 90." I thought she would go like 60 or maybe even get subbed out at halftime. I did not expect her to go 81. And not even did she go 81. She went 81 and still looked like she could have gone 90.
Yeah.
She did not look like she was losing any step in her effort, in her pace, anything. Like she looked like she could play a whole nother match. She was ready. I did not expect that, but she, like, right off the bat, she went back to being a great defender, which is so funny. Um, but she was doing it too much in the first half, I thought. And then she was moved to the 9, which was interesting at some point. And I think she really needed that, to sort of like them to get her away from putting so much effort on the defensive end. They're like, just stay over there and try to score goals. Like that's what we need you for. We'll work it out defensively. And I think she did need to be on the ball more. When she did have the ball, she just like turned and burned, blew past defenders, looked like the Mal of old, so quick. It's crazy how much you forget about a player when they're injured. Not that I like forgot that Mallory Swanson is quick, but like watching it again was just like surreal. I could not believe my eyes. Like you're just like watching her and you're just like, oh, of course she's fast. Like this is Mal. Like you're just watching Mallory Swanson play again, and it's just unreal to watch.
It was such a breath of fresh air yesterday to watch her play again. Like I remember watching the game where she got hurt and just see that and then watch yesterday's game. Like honestly, I was surprised that she didn't score. I was kind of hoping, come back, get that goal,
Yeah.
celebrate. But hey, everyone, that was just a glimpse of the Golden Boot winner this year. So stay tuned for all those 20 something goals that she's gonna score on your least favorite teams. But um, I mean, obviously she was missed. And to have her back is just so great. And come Olympics time, she's gonna ball out too. Gonna get a gold medal in France. So that's gonna be great. Um, I am excited to see in terms of attacking partnerships, how that's gonna look, how that changes throughout the rest of the season, especially when we play Seattle. I'll be interested to see that lineup and if it's kind of the same vibes as playing against Utah compared to Seattle, but we'll see.
Yeah, I like watching her play and just seeing her have fun again, I think was the most important thing to me. I obviously I wanted her to score, but when the other players scored, she like lit up. She was the first person to them. She was the first person to Allie when she scored her header. And you like just seeing the smile on her face, like the elation to just be playing soccer again, to be happy for her teammates again, to be on the field with her teammates again, I think was the most important part for her, for fans. Just seeing a player who maybe like within the soccer community is like an icon. Like she is Mallory Swanson. She is Mallory Pugh. Like she is one of the most like inspirational players to other players, to fans who want to grow up and be like her. And to watch a player go down like she did, who was on like the precipice of shining on the world stage at a World Cup, and the devastation that comes with not only an injury that takes that away from her, but also an injury, like she said, that became life threatening and changed her outlook on everything, on her life, on soccer, and just the way that she's going to approach things from now on. To watch her step back onto the pitch and just be there, I think was the most impactful thing to me last night. Obviously, I want to watch all of these players succeed, and I want to watch this team succeed. But most importantly, just for a player like her and a person like her, I want her to have the most success this year. I want her to dominate the NWSL. I want her to dominate internationally. I think that is something that will put her into the correct spotlight that she should have always been put in, because young Mal was put into a spotlight that was full of pressure and being put on a team so young on the national stage that is very similar to kind of what happened to Sophia Smith last year with the World Cup. Putting that much pressure on young players does a lot to them in their career and can have a detriment on their career. But in the space that she is now as a player, and the confidence she has in herself and her abilities and where she is in her life, the spotlight that will be on her now, I think, will be easier. Obviously not easy, because it's never easy to be in the spotlight and to be the focal point of any team. Now she kind of has to be the focal point of two teams. And I'm just very, very, very excited to watch her play and just be on the pitch, regardless of what happens, success wise. Like, I want her to succeed, but if she isn't scoring goals and she still has that smile on her face, I think that's enough.
Yeah, you certainly did not mince any words. Like everything you said, quite perfect. I agree with everything. I am interested to see this year, um, if she's gonna be like a total goal scoring machine, or I guess in the beginning, if she's gonna be more like, I guess maybe taking a step back and trying to assist others or trying to create those chances and not necessarily be um scoring all the time. But I mean, I'm just excited. I think everyone's excited, or if they're not, they should be. But
I think
yeah,
just based on the reaction,
this is gonna be great.
I think just based on the reaction that
Yeah.
kind of went over the soccer world when the starting lineup came out, and then when she's stepped foot on the field, and when, you know, pictures of her in the kit and everything were posted online, I think the response from the WOSO community was everything that I kind of expected. Everyone's happy for her to be back, and everyone's excited to see what she can do with this. But like what you said, I think is very, very interesting, because regardless of how many like goals she scores and how great of a scorer she is, I still think that she's always been a pass first player. She's always been that player who looks for her teammates. The reason that she gets so many goals on top of that is because there's a lot of times where her teammates aren't there to be assisted. So she just kind of has to go at it herself. But she always just kind of seems to be in the right positions to even be the one who gets assisted by any of her teammates that are in the box or outside the box putting a ball in. So like I said, I could not be more happy to have her back. And I think the team will be better, obviously, with her than without her. And that was just kind of partially proven last season.
All in all, welcome back, Male Swanson. We missed you. Everyone, watch out.
Yeah,
That's all I
watch
got.
out. And one of those
Watch
players,
out.
one of those players that could very well be a player that she looks for a lot is Ally Schlegel, who I wanted to be in the starting lineup. I've wanted her to be in the starting lineup since last season. And she was in the starting lineup. Beautiful ball by Sam Staub. That, I mean, it's probably only a beautiful ball because it went into the goal. Maybe it wasn't a beautiful ball, but it looked like one that because it went in. But what a header by Ally Schlegel.
Yeah.
Like there's got to be, I don't know what kind of magic she imbues in that headband, but there's got to be something in there, because you don't get a glancing header like that that redirects like that into the goal without some sort of magic, right?
Yeah. I mean, she was great in college. She's great in the pros. What's not to love? She wears that headband every game. It's got to have some magical powers. Like, I don't know what it is, but she's just great. And I wish that she was utilized more last season, because I think last night's game is just a glimpse into what we're going to get this year. And if she is utilized correctly, so many great things are going to happen.
Yeah, I thought she played really well, did her job. I think in the post-match presser, she was just a blast. She's just like the embodiment of pure energy when it comes to a player, and I think she's earned a chance to be that starting 9 this season. After one match, one goal, I don't think it's like she's a lock, because like Lauren said, there'll be rotation in that starting 11 based on certain matchups that they go through and certain tactics that they want to play. But now she got the start first match of the season, and now she just has to prove that she can keep it. I think overall she had like a nice match, a good match. I don't think she did anything outside of that goal to like overly impress, outside of her like just run and gun at everything. Like she does not stop. She is just like Energizer Bunny running around, no there's no stopping her when it comes to uh her energy on the field. And it's just fun to have a player like that. Because you don't find them very often. But when you find a player like Ali Schlegel that kind of has that uh that style of play, I think it's smart to not, if not have them in the starting lineup, but then to utilize them correctly off of the bench.
Such great energy for the club. And those players are always so freaking important. I cannot stress that enough. You see it wherever you go. I see it a lot, especially working for the few sports teams that I've been a part of. Like, those people, whether or not they get a crazy amount of playing time, you need that kind of energy, or your group is just gonna be meh. There's no other way to put it, honestly, except saying that three-letter word of meh.
Yeah.
But you need those people. Ali Schlegel is an icon. Pink headband wearing icon. I'm just excited for what she could do this year, and even if she went to Penn State, but that's beside the point.
Hey, Alyssa Naeher went to Penn State too.
Yeah, whatever.
Let's stop that. Let's stop that talk. If Penn State can produce a player like Alyssa Naeher, let's not sit there trash talking them. Come on, Grant.
I'm waiting for my Huskers to come into the NWSL. Thank you.
Okay.
Beside the point. Beside the point.
Outside of Mal on the front line, there was Nadia Gomes, who non-roster invitee, got the start. I think a lot of people were surprised to see that. I didn't think she did anything too special to have like a major impact on the game. She did obviously had her moments in the attack, but such a good story, making her return to this league after a brief retirement from soccer. A player to watch for sure. I hope she keeps working into finding the right role for her on this team. She was playing in a front line with Mal and Ali and Penelope, rotating in that middle part of the forward line with Ali before they kind of moved her to the right when Mal moved centrally. But on the far right of the field was Penelope Hocking. Such high hopes for her last season. Played well before an injury, played well after the injury. This season will just be another chance for her to really prove that she belongs in this league. Still has a lot to learn. I think you can just kind of see her raw potential. Just moments of learning to control like her own speed, her own pace, her decision making on the ball. I think will come, but we'll kind of see how that kind of plays out as this season goes on. But seeing those two in the starting lineup, Penelope, I thought was expected. Nadia, not expected, but an interesting sign for what could be to come for Lorne and his decision making as a coach.
Rotating.
Yeah,
So crazy.
I don't know what last year was. I don't even want to think about it anymore.
Last year didn't exist. Nothing happened that was bad. I don't know what you're talking about.
Just when you thought the Ava Cook, Allie Cook pairing was going to be confusing, they had to go and make it even more confusing by bringing them in at the same time.
And not putting their first name or like first two letters of their first name on the back. They just say Cook.
Yep, they just say
What?
Cook. And also Allie Cook is number 33 instead of 6 like she was in her announcement, which
Oh my god, I didn't even notice.
yeah, they're like, what a weird, I don't even know what happened there. But it did, and she's number 33 now, so I had to go change my roster graphic and everything, and the roster spreadsheet that we have, the club information spreadsheet. But anyway, because why not bring them in at the exact same time? Let's just get a good laugh in there. And I asked Ava post match if her and Allie always plan to either start together or come off the bench together. Are you and Allie always going to either start together or come off the bench together? Is that the plan? Lauren, is that the plan?
I know. Yeah, I mean, we're just going for it. We're embracing we keep joking around and telling everyone that we're cousins, which I guess we should probably stop doing that. But it's pretty close. I think our dads have the same name. Both our parents are from Michigan, so it really could be we could be long lost cousins somewhere.
But they're just kind of having a blast with it and kind of leaning into the Cooks thing, and I think it's really funny.
I would do the same thing.
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
that was me. The jokes write themselves. So
I know. I made one.
your graphic is beautiful.
Thank you.
And if people haven't seen the graphic, shame on you.
I'll put it up right here, and you can see it. Why not?
Editor LT.
Editor LT. Put the Cook graphic that I made, so we can all have a good laugh.
Or you can just plug your socials and then everyone go follow Red Stars Report on Twitter and Instagram.
At Red Stars Report on Twitter and Instagram. I think I even put it on TikTok because the younger demographic, yeah.
Younger demographic. You are not that old.
I'm older than you, Grant. So maybe I won't put it up. Just go to the socials. And
You're a real one, follow us on social media.
I'll shamelessly plug our socials so you can go laugh at my Ava Cook and Allie Cook overcooked graphic, which was a blast to make, and I think everyone had a good laugh at it. So that was appreciated.
They were cooking last night.
They were cooking.
Their Selly is my Twitter header now because it's too good. It is too good.
Yeah.
I just love that. And I hope to see that every game.
Lauren,
both of them need to be in it at the same time.
Every time. Yeah.
Every time.
I made a GIF of Ava doing the cooking celebration too. So
I saw all the GIFs, and those are also wonderful.
She was just she had a plethora of gifable moments in last night's match, and I could not be more happy about that because those are some of my favorite things to make.
Very expressive player.
Yeah. But just match wise in general, Ava looks like she's really put in a lot of work this offseason. I think she really increased her athleticism, her speed. She looked pretty good out there. Got a little scrappy, but that's who she is always getting beat up, which is crazy. And I do think on the other side of that, Allie Cook actually reminds me a lot of Ava in her rookie year. Doesn't seem to have like her pro legs under her quite yet. Obviously, she's only played one match. I wouldn't expect that after a 30-minute performance in the NWSL in the top tier league in the United States. But tall player, willing to play defensively as a forward, has the right mindset, just can't execute what she wants to do quite yet, which was Ava her rookie year. Ava has grown into her own now, and I think she's played a big role on the club last season, and now again tonight. A lot of promise there with Cook. Which one am I talking about? Who knows? We'll see where both of them go from here in this new look team. maybe Allie Cook won't whiff on a tap in next time, but because she did, Ava Cook got the goal. So at least she got the assist too, right?
Yep.
Oh, what a way to get your
What a
first
yeah.
professional assist.
What a debut.
What a debut. The other players that subbed in were Jenna Bike. She looked like Jenna Bike in her limited
Jenna.
minutes. We're big fans of Jenna Bike here. Of course we are. She's one of my favorite players. I hope she has a bigger role this season than she did last season. I think her coming on in the 80th minute is typical of last season's role for her, but it's just the first match. We'll kind of find out what happens there. And then Sarah Griffith got into the match late. I think to play like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, it was barely any
Not
time
enough
on the field.
Not enough to see what kind of impact she should make, but at least it kind of gives you a glimpse of like she basically sat on the bench all last season, except for little moments here and there. So if she's getting subbed into the first match of the season and in a win, maybe that is just kind of telling of where Lorne is kind of looking with his subs. But specifically, players not getting subbed in, I thought was interesting to look at. None of the drafted rookies that signed got subbed in. No Hannah Anderson, no B. Franklin, no Jamise Joseph, no Leilani Nesbitt. But then you start one of your NRIs and sub in another one of your NRIs. That's really interesting.
I mean, do you want to break up the defensive line though?
No.
In this game,
No,
like
of course not.
That's my thing, is that you don't want to do that because there were a lot of times where they were kind of struggling. So
yeah, and I think when it came to Leilani, she had mentioned in media day that she was kind of banged up. She may not have been on the availability report, but maybe they were just like, we're winning 2-0. Like, there's no reason to throw her out there and risk an injury, or risk like anything. We might as well just put proven players out there like Ava Cook, like Sarah Griffith, like Jenna Bike. Allie Cook was kind of an outlier, I think. But it just kind of shows you that I don't think Lorne cares about your draft status or how many years you've been in the league or whatever. He wants to put his best players, quote unquote, best players out there, and that maybe that's what he was looking at for this first match. I think we'll see a lot of the other players get rotated in as the year goes on, but it was just an interesting thought that none of the drafted players got in. It was just a little interesting.
I think he made the right calls for the subs though. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
think necessarily we needed to see them yet.
No, I don't think they needed to bring in like a Leilani Nesbitt or a B. Franklin, because I don't think you wanted to break up that midfield, who was kind of holding steady in the end of near the end of the match. And then I think bringing Ava Cook and Allie Cook out there, two big defensive-minded forwards, was smarter than bringing in a player like Jamise Joseph, who's small and attack-minded. We didn't need like 100% attack-minded forwards out there, even though Ava and Allie Cook got the goal, but that wasn't their focus. That wasn't why they were out there.
Yeah.
And like you said, you're not going to bring in Hannah Anderson to sub in for Kuika or Sam Staub. Like, you're just not going to do that. Not in the first match of the season.
Good job, Lauren.
Yeah, good job, Lauren. Wow. What a difference. Us saying good job to the head coach.
How times have changed.
It's so mean. Whatever. I love Lauren. He's great. It was fun to talk to him too. He's a great guy, and you can really see how much he cares about his players.
Gonna get the Jamaican flag for him.
We can get it for Sydney
Yeah.
Schneider as well. She's also Jamaican.
And yeah, I know. I really do have to get the flags. I will get the flags.
They're in my
when
cart.
I get
I'm ready to buy some flags.
I'm gonna leave right now. I'm
I
gonna
figured
get up
you
and
were gonna do
leave.
some like hanging flags though, right?
Hanging flags? What do you mean?
Just like flags like on your wall, right?
Yeah.
So what I was gonna do was I was just gonna get like those little like desk flags
Uh-huh.
and just like stick them on the shelf back there. So they're like all like in a row. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, I probably maybe when I get to King County time of the year, I'll get some flags on my wall when I get paid the big bucks.
I'm looking forward to the flags, Grant.
I'm also looking forward to the flags whenever the hell I can get them.
The more that we can throw into our backgrounds, the more people will watch us on YouTube, maybe.
Yeah, because what's not to love about our backgrounds? Like, I mean, yours is more cohesive than mine is, but you know, I got so much going on back here. Yours is just like pure soccer. I got everything
Right.
going on back here.
Yeah, but your focus has always been very women's sports in all areas. So
We're gonna ignore this for a second
yeah.
right here.
Yeah, cover that one.
We're gonna ignore my work for a second. Oh, and the Bulls
Oh yeah.
and
Sports.
the Premier League.
You love sports.
Just gonna ignore those.
I also love sports, but
Sports.
I love women's soccer more so.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, that was it. That's pretty much the whole match. Beautiful, great, loved it. First match of the season, got to win. That's the most important thing. Who
Second
cares
place.
what we have to say about the players? But I did want to ask the community for some questions for us to talk about. And so I went to the Discord, said, ask us anything. We'll answer some stuff. And so here's what some of the questions were. Ocelot9 asked, what starting 11 you think the Red Stars should put out next week?
Oh, I'm not answering that.
I'm
I'm gonna let Lauren do whatever he wants.
He can do whatever he wants.
I'm not
I'm
gonna
just gonna
try
say,
and guess.
Any starting 11 that includes Tatum.
So true. So true. Yeah.
So Scotty asked, the biggest surprise of the match. What was the biggest surprise of the match for you?
Maxi Raw.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Absolutely Maxi Raw. I was kind of making fun of the Utah Royals social team put out like a match preview thing that was like, get to know your opponent. And they like showed some stuff about the Red Stars. And one of the things was like biggest acquisitions of the offseason. Sam Staub, Maxi Raw. I was like, what? You're not even going to mention Natalia Kuika? Like, what the hell is this? Maxi can be on that graphic. I do not care.
They did more scouting than you did, LT.
I did plenty of scouting. I was correct on a lot of the things that I said about her. I didn't think she would start, but I certainly felt like I was correct in my analysis. So yeah, Maxi Raw. That's I agree with you. Boog asked, who's a big longstanding member of Red Stars Report, very active community member. Love Boog. They asked biggest position of question for the team.
Well, it's only been one game, but I really do need Tatum on the field. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I'm gonna say. I need Tatum in our defensive line. Pretty please. I'm asking nicely.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think it's the left back. Yeah, I'm not sold on Malum. I hope she can prove me wrong. Like, as big of a fan as I am of Tatum, anybody who steps in and helps this team win, I want them to do that. So, like, I hope no one takes my bias of. Let me just cover my.
We're all biased.
let's just get rid of that. Cover my. Oh wait, no, there's some over here too. Cover the Tatum stuff.
Don't listen to my interview from a few years ago.
Yeah. And so just forget that I have just forget that part of this. And I'll just say that I want the best 11 players out there. And whoever they are, to Lauren, if we're winning, I'll leave it at that.
Taylor Malum, prove us wrong.
Yes, exactly. Prove us wrong. We're not the smartest people in the soccer community.
Again, random 21-year-old that doesn't know anything. Prove me wrong. I'm begging you. Please.
And some guy with a microphone. I agree with you, but I do think that attacking midfield role that Nadia Gomes, or however you say her last name, they were saying it on the broadcast like Gomes. Oh, that's right.
I think that's what the Portuguese do.
I don't know.
I'm not mistaken. I honestly don't know.
I'm not Portuguese, so I don't know. I'll ask around. But that role, I think, will, unless Nadia can sort of solidify a presence there, I think that role will start rotating a lot until they find the right person to play there. I did think it would be Shea Groom, but she didn't even dress in this match, which I should have asked about in the post match. I wonder if she's still on her recovery journey from her injury last season.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah, but that's my second.
Yeah.
First
I think those
left
are two
back.
very obvious.
Second is that one.
Yeah, I think those are two very obvious spots, very obvious positions. But so then Kat in the Discord asked, between Staub's left foot and long throw inability, Mal and Julia's corner kicks in general, and having more tall players, are we going to become known as a good set piece team?
I thought we were.
Noah in the Discord mentioned we already were the best set piece taking team in the league.
Well, no, I
season.
answered it already. So next question, I guess.
Which is true. So I'm sure we'll be even better.
10 times better.
Especially with the tall players thing and players who are more known for getting goals with their heads. But on the opposite side of that, I think the tall players will make an impact on an area that we are really bad at, which is giving up goals on set pieces. And a player like Maxi Rawl, if she can stay in that starting 11, she's 5'11". She's a
Tall
5'11",
players FC.
Right. Yeah. All players FC. And if you can get players in there like Allie Cook, who's like 5'9", 5'10", a player like B. Franklin, who's like 5'10", Anderson's like 5'9", 5'10", like tall players FC, like there's plenty of them. Maybe one day we'll get a 6-footer who will really make us a staple in the league as tall
Wishful
player
thinking.
FC. Our goalkeepers are all like 5'9". They're short for goalkeepers. Such a weird dynamic there. But yeah, we're already the best. So I don't expect us to change. Julia really made us the best last season.
Yeah.
And she didn't really take many set pieces this match. They were kind of all left to Sam and Mal, but I think that'll change in certain aspects. But next week, home opener against Seattle. Winning this first match, so important going into the home opener, because now you start your first match in front of your fans when you're happy as a club. The fans are happy. It should be a really, really fun match to be at and watch and experience.
I'm so bummed. I'm gonna be in Columbus. I'm gonna be in Columbus this upcoming week, and I will not be able to be at SeatGeek to witness this. I really hope that they sold a lot of tickets for this match.
Me too.
I'm really hoping that they have changed their marketing somehow to get more people out. I'm excited to see what the Chicago Local 134 has come up with in terms of signs.
Yeah. And
They
new
always
chants.
have some, yeah, they have some absolute bangers. So excited for that. Um, I wish I was able to go, but
I wish you were
I'll
too,
be
man.
watching. I'll be watching.
We're gonna have a nice little Red Stars report Discord meetup. Like we
Photoshop
always
me in the
do.
picture if you take one.
I will Photoshop you into the picture. You
A
send me a
good
picture.
picture of me,
You
please.
just send me a picture. I'll Photoshop you in.
Ooh.
It'll look great. Make sure it's in this.
I don't know if
Actually,
I
it's
actually
not
have
even
any
going to be
good
sunny that day. Make
pictures.
sure it's in the cloud light
Oh my god.
because that's what it's going to be. It's going to be cloudy, I think, and maybe a little rainy.
It's gonna be raining. That sucks.
I think so. There's like a small chance of precipitation.
This is now the weather report.
Yeah, I'll just start adding that to all my commentary. I work in television. I know meteorologists. I'll just start making them forecasts.
I
Just
am a little bit of a weather nerd. That's a
are
fun
you?
little
Oh, that's
fact.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's
I am
cool.
like obsessed with weather stuff. And the fact that my school is right next to NWS Chicago is perfect.
Oh,
Got that
nice.
huge ass weather ball by the airport. I don't know what it's called. I'm not that big of a weather nerd. But yeah. So maybe I'll do forecasts before games
That'd be
for the
fun.
podcast. I'll have to
We'll
dress up though. Get
we'll
me
get
a
on
green
that.
screen.
Yeah. We can just get you like a touch monitor or something.
So much technology. Oh my goodness.
I mean, it's better than making green screen graphics and keying you out and everything. Whatever.
Yeah. No,
But
no thanks.
so home opener, they'll be playing Seattle, who just won 1-0 today against the Washington Spirit. And we mentioned that earlier. I don't know if Seattle was good or if Washington was just bad, but
Washington is just bad.
it kind of seemed like a little bit of both. Seattle's like a pretty different look from last season too. So I don't think their 5-2 and 3-0 wins over us will mean too much, especially with how different Chicago is as well this season. Completely different look teams altogether. But yeah, they won 1-0, and we'll kind of see how they match up with our team. We'll see who we throw out there. Maybe the starting 11 will be different, like Lauren kind of implied. I think there were certain things that happened in the Royals game that will kind of dictate that. But I'm not a coach. I'm certainly not Lauren Donaldson.
Disclaimer every episode. We are
Yeah.
not coaches.
Like,
We know nothing.
yep, random
Proceed with
21-year-old and guy with a mic. That is who we are. That is who we will
So
remain.
true. Yeah.
I'll just put that in the intro every single time. Welcome to Red Stars Report. I'm a guy with a mic, and this is my co-host, a 21-year-old. But yeah, I really hope to see a lot of you there. It'll be fun.
I apologize for my absence.
We'll Photoshop you in, like we said.
Yeah. Enjoy your drive.
We'll get you in there. Yeah, I will enjoy my drive. There and back.
It's a fun drive.
Yeah, it's all right. We'll see. I've made it plenty of times.
Yeah.
I'll live. But with that, we'll wrap up this episode for this week. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you find your podcast. Watch the show on Red Stars Report's YouTube page. You can actually see the backgrounds that Grant and I talk about every single episode. Subscribe wherever you listen, watch, or listen, and turn on those notifications to see when our new episodes go up every single week. Make sure you're following us at Red Stars Report on our social media channels to keep up with the latest news between episodes and to see my commentary throughout the live matches and any ridiculous stuff that I create out of this brain that comes up with ridiculous things sometimes. Don't forget to join our Discord with the link in the description. People really did have a blast, I thought, having our post-match chat back this season. We didn't do it a whole lot last season, but Liz, who co-hosted last week's podcast, they kind of steered the ship and did a great job getting everyone in there to talk about the match. And just a reminder that to join our Discord is entirely free. Just click the invite and you're in. You can start chatting with us, both through text, through voice, whenever we're doing our post-match chats. We don't just talk about the Red Stars, we talk about all women's soccer, all women's sports. But the next time you see us, we'll be recapping the home opener. Hopefully I get to see some of you there. I plan on doing another one of the meetups at halftime that we always do. So keep an eye out for that information on that day. And with that, we'll see you next week for another Red Stars Report.